Hello, everyone. Sue.oneschuk here to continue the workbook lessons of A Course in Miracles. And today we're on lesson 43. So I will begin, as always, by reading the lesson, and then we'll do a brief reflection on the lesson. So here is today's lesson. God is my source. I cannot see apart from him. Perception is not an attribute of God. His is the realm of knowledge. Yet he has created the Holy Spirit as the mediator between perception and knowledge. Without this link with God, perception would have replaced knowledge forever in your mind. With this link with God, perception will become so changed and purified that it will lead to knowledge. That is its function as the Holy Spirit sees it. Therefore, that is its function in truth. In God, you cannot see. Perception has no function in God and does not exist. Yet in salvation, which is the undoing of what never was, perception has a mighty purpose. Made by the Son of God for an unholy purpose, it must become the means for the restoration of his holiness to his awareness. Perception has no meaning. Yet does the Holy Spirit give it a meaning very close to God's. Healed perception becomes the means by which the Son of God forgives his brother and thus forgives himself. You cannot see apart from God because you cannot be apart from God. Whatever you do in him, because whatever you think with his mind. If vision is real, and it is real to the extent to which it shares the Holy Spirit's purpose, then you cannot see apart from God. 3 5-minute practice periods are required today, one as early and one as late as possible in the day. The third may be undertaken at the most convenient and suitable time that circumstances and readiness permit. At the beginning of these practice periods, repeat the idea for today to yourself with eyes open. Then glance around you for a short time, applying the idea specifically to what you see. 4 or 5 subjects for this phase of the practice period are sufficient. You might say, for example, God is my source. I cannot see this desk apart from him. God is my source. I cannot see that picture apart from him. Although this part of the exercise period should be relatively short, be sure that you select the subjects for this phase of practice indiscriminately without self-directed inclusion or exclusion. For the second and longest phase, close your eyes. Repeat today's idea again, and then let whatever relevant thoughts occur to you add to the idea in your personal way. Thoughts such as, I see through the eyes of forgiveness. I see the world as blessed. The world can show me myself. I see my own thoughts, which are like God's. Any thought related more or less directly to today's idea is suitable. The thoughts need not bear any obvious relationship to the idea, but they should not be in opposition to it. If you find your mind wandering, if you begin to be aware of thoughts which are clearly out of accord with today's idea, or if you seem to be unable to think of anything, open your eyes. Repeat the first phase of the exercise period and then attempt the second phase again. Do not allow any protracted period to occur in which you become preoccupied with irrelevant thoughts. Return to the first phase of the exercises as often as necessary to prevent this. In applying today's idea in the shorter practice periods, the form may vary according to the circumstances and the situation in which you find yourself during the day. When you are with someone else, for example, try to remember to tell them silently, God is my source. I cannot see you apart from him. This form is equally applicable to strangers as it is to those you think are closer to you. In fact, try not to make distinctions of this kind at all. Today's ideas should also be applied throughout the day to various situations and events that may occur, particularly to those which seem to distress you in any way. For this purpose, apply the idea in this form. God is my source. I cannot see this apart from him. If no particular subject presents itself to your awareness at the time, merely repeat the idea in its original form. Try today not to allow any long periods of time to slip by without remembering today's idea and thus remembering your function. And the lesson again is, God is my source. I cannot see apart from him. So remember that a miracle, according to the Course in Miracles, is a shift in perception. And all that, or all of what we call seeing, is perception. It is not knowledge. Now they're speaking here about knowledge and perception. So knowledge in the Course is something that belongs to the realm of perfection and of heaven. The aim of the Course is to move from false perception to true perception. So when our perception has been shifted from fear-based perception to love-based perception, we'll be ready then for the transfer over to the knowledge that you're speaking of here. Again, this knowledge is something that belongs to the realm of perfection, the realm of heaven. So in paragraph 1, it addresses the Holy Spirit in terms of the Holy Spirit was created as the mediator between perception and knowledge. And the Holy Spirit is the link to the mind of God. So, when we are finding ourselves caught up in our ego thought system, then we just merely need to shift that. In how we do that is, again, by giving it over to the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit does the work from there. So again, the Holy Spirit heals our perception. So also in paragraph 2, it says the healed perception becomes the means by which the Son of God, us, you, I, forgive our brother and our sister, and thus forgive ourselves. We're all one. Forgiving our brother or our sister is forgiving ourselves. So it also goes on to say, you cannot see apart from God because you cannot be apart from God. We're not apart from God. We only believe that we are. We believe we're separated. And it says, whatever you do in him, because whatever you think with his mind. So, when we have that, we have the shift in perception, we get reconnected to our holy self, which is always there. But again, we fall asleep. We fall asleep to our holy self. Although with willingness, as I mentioned earlier, to willingness to surrender this, to the Holy Spirit, to surrender any of our ego, thoughts, that false self. When we surrender it, in that process, we will find our peace and love and happiness. And as we do the Course, that just keeps on building on that and building on it. Yes, we're going to forget again, as I've said so often, we're going to forget and we're going to remember. So, what we're awakening to is our holiness, our innocence. In God's eyes, we are innocent. And that holiness and that innocent is always, always with us. It never leaves us. We just cover it up. We cover it up with our ego, with our false perceptions, with all our fear-based thinking. And our true nature, our natural self is holiness. And again, we are not apart from God. So again, today's lesson is, God is my source, and I cannot see apart from him. And remember that God is love. So you might also look at this in reference to God is my source, God is love. All right, have a wonderful day. And again, you may wish to do some journaling on this. And again, wherever you're at is perfect. Just do your very best with the lesson. And again, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube page. And I look forward to you to be with you in the next video for lesson 44. All righty. Have a wonderful day. And again, thank you for being here.